The story begins in a quiet small town where a wedding has drawn nearly everyone together. Gizmo is marrying Maya, and the celebration fills the streets with food, music, and bright clothing. Maya's younger brother, Sam, is there as part of the family, watching everything with the restless focus of someone who is still figuring out himself. Gizmo's closest friend Simon stays near the groom, offering help, smiling for photographs, and enjoying the attention that weddings always bring. After the vows and the traditional rituals, the gathering relaxes into laughter and dancing, and the new couple is treated as the center of a hopeful future. That night, Gizmo brings Maya to his house, eager to begin married life. Sam will be living under the same roof, partly for school and partly because Gizmo feels responsible for him. Behind the bedroom door, the newlyweds search for closeness, and the sounds of intimacy drift through the thin walls. Sam's curiosity turns into secret watching, and he reacts in ways that confuse him, even as he tries to hide his face and his feelings. The first night sets an uneasy tone, because the home now holds love, desire, and secrecy at the same time. A few days later, Gizmo prepares to leave the country. He has found a job overseas as a driver and plans to return after 2 years with savings that can secure their future. Before departing, he presses Sam to look after Maya and to make sure she lacks nothing. Sam nods and accepts the duty, though the responsibility feels heavier than he admits. When Gizmo leaves, Maya's happiness collapses into loneliness, and the house becomes quieter than it should be for a new bride. Gizmo arrives abroad and begins working for a wealthy employer whose power reaches into every corner of the business. The city is unfamiliar, the language is different, and the job is demanding, but Gizmo believes hard work will protect him. One night, as he prepares to sleep, his boss enters the room without warning. What follows is not romance, but coercion. Gizmo tries to resist, yet the boss uses threats about firing him, destroying his papers, and having him arrested. The assault leaves Gizmo stunned, trapped by fear and shame in a place where he has no allies. The next morning, the boss gives Gizmo money and makes it clear that his passport is being held as leverage. Gizmo realizes that his freedom has been taken from him, not by law but by fear. The abuse repeats at night, and each time Gizmo feels his sense of self slipping a little further away. He tells himself he must endure for Maya, for the life they planned, and for the promise that he will return home. The constant pressure twists his emotions until survival becomes his only goal. During the day, he drove long routes, polished the car, and followed strict instructions. The boss's assistants watched him, and every mistake felt dangerous. Gizmo stopped making friends, avoided crowded streets, and saved every coin, counting the days until departure. He washed his hands too often, as if soap could erase the nights, and he flinched at footsteps in empty corridors. Sleep brought no rest, only dreams that snapped into panic. He drafted messages to Maya, then deleted them, worried that the wrong tone might reveal too much. He began praying in silence, not for success, but for ordinary safety. In mirrors, he barely recognized himself, yet he kept going without complaint. Even with the distance, Gizmo calls Maya. Their late conversations carry warmth and longing, but they also remind them of what they cannot share. When desire rises, each of them turns inward, seeking private relief rather than admitting how desperate they feel. Gizmo tries to keep his voice steady, hiding the violence and humiliation he is living through. He listens when Maya describes the days at home, the empty afternoons, and Sam's strange silences, and he pretends everything will be fine once he comes back. Back home, Maya tries to be both wife and guardian to her brother. She asks Sam about school and about friends, hoping to draw him out. Sam answers in short phrases, avoiding anything that might expose what he really feels. Maya's loneliness deepens because her husband is far away and her brother refuses closeness. Then Simon arrives with gifts Gizmo has sent from abroad. Sam is on his way to class and leaves Simon inside. Simon looks for Maya, moves toward her room, and finds her alone, struggling with longing. Simon watches, aroused by what he sees, and crosses a line that cannot be taken back. From that point, two hidden stories run in parallel. Abroad, Gizmo is repeatedly assaulted by his boss, trapped by threats, and the loss of his documents. At home, Maya keeps meeting Simon, telling herself that it is only a temporary escape from loneliness. The affair becomes routine, and Maya's shame is matched by her growing dependence on Simon's attention. Sam notices changes in the house, hears whispers and late footsteps, and begins to watch more openly, storing images in his mind like proof that nothing in his home is pure. As months pass, Gizmo's feelings become complicated. The abuse has not made him content, but it has changed the way his body reacts, mixing fear and unwanted response. He hates himself for adapting, yet he cannot stop the changes. Maya also changes, becoming sharper and more secretive, careful about when she is alone and who might notice. Sam's emotions harden into bitterness. He wants guidance, but he also wants to punish the people who make him feel invisible. Eventually, Sam catches Maya and Simon together. He does not confront them, but the sight burns into him. He begins to see Maya less as a sister and more as a person who can betray without consequence. He tells himself that Gizmo deserves the truth, yet he stays silent, perhaps because silence gives him power. Then fate breaks the pattern. Gizmo's boss suffers a heart attack and dies. The death ends the nightly assaults, but it also ends Gizmo's job. With nothing holding him abroad, he returns home quickly, believing that distance from the abuse will restore him. Maya greets him with relief and joy, desperate to bury the years of loneliness. Sam welcomes him too, but his eyes remain guarded. The family shares meals and stories. Gizmo speaks about work and the city, carefully skipping the parts that would crush Maya. When Gizmo and Maya try to be intimate again, Gizmo feels detached. He wants his marriage to feel familiar, yet his memories interfere. He realizes that what was done to him has altered his desires and his confidence. Sam continues listening from nearby rooms, repeating the old habit, and his reactions mix longing with confusion. The home that should have healed them becomes a place where everyone hides something. Soon Simon visits again, acting like the devoted friend. Maya tries to keep distance, but Simon presses closer, using casual excuses to find her alone. He wants the affair to continue, and he refuses to accept that Maya might end it now that her husband has returned. Sam overhears enough to understand that Simon feels entitled to Maya. Maya recognizes Sam's presence and knows he has learned too much. She asks him to stay silent for Gizmo's sake, insisting she will end the situation. Sam gives no clear answer. While Maya struggles with fear, Gizmo experiences a different kind of confusion. In the market, he notices a young man whose appearance triggers attraction. The feeling shocks him, but it also feels like a consequence of what he endured abroad. He follows the impulse, brings the stranger to a hotel, and shares a brief paid encounter. When it ends, the young man asks for money, and Gizmo pays, carrying both relief and shame back home. Maya's problems deepen when Simon reveals that he has secretly recorded their affair. The footage becomes a weapon. Simon threatens to show it to Gizmo if Maya refuses him, and the threat traps her. She spends sleepless nights imagining public disgrace, violence, and abandonment. She tries to keep her face calm during the day, but fear lives behind her eyes. Gizmo, needing someone to trust, visits Simon and drinks with him. The alcohol loosens Gizmo's restraint, and he finally confesses the truth about his time abroad, including the coercion and the way it has twisted him. He searches for comfort in friendship, but Simon is not a safe person. Simon exploits Gizmo's vulnerability, turning intimacy into another act of control. Afterward, Simon demands money as if everything is a transaction. When Gizmo refuses, Simon shows him a recording of their encounter, proving he has begun blackmailing Gizmo as well. That night, Gizmo drinks alone, and Sam joins him. In a rush of honesty, Sam admits that he is not attracted to women. He also pushes boundaries, hoping Gizmo might understand him. Gizmo stops him, clinging to the idea of loyalty to Maya, even as his own behavior has become tangled. Sam's rejection turns into anger. He reveals Maya's affair with Simon and insists it never truly ended. The truth lands like a blow. When Maya returns home, Gizmo confronts her with rage. The household erupts, and Maya admits she made a terrible choice during his absence. She pleads for a chance to repair the marriage. Gizmo, shaking with hurt, admits his own trauma abroad and the ways it changed him. Both realize Simon has recorded them and holds power over their lives. Their secrets are no longer separate. They are connected by one manipulative man. Maya decides that Simon must be stopped. She designs a plan to lure him into a vulnerable moment, recover any evidence, and end the threats. Gizmo agrees to help, driven by anger and the need to reclaim dignity. Sam listens and becomes part of the intention, not out of love but out of hatred for Simon's control. Maya answers Simon's call and agrees to meet him, acting obedient. She arrives at his house and lets him believe he still owns the situation. Then Gizmo appears, and Maya frames it as a shared fantasy meant to lower Simon's guard. The trap collapses when Gizmo reaches for a knife. Simon reacts quickly, and a violent struggle begins. Gizmo fights hard, but Simon is ruthless and desperate to survive. In the chaos, Simon kills Gizmo. Maya watches her husband fall, and grief turns into a cold, irreversible fury. She attacks Simon and kills him as well. The house becomes a scene of blood and shattered plans, and there is no victory, only loss. Police arrive, and Maya is arrested. The town that once celebrated her wedding now whispers about betrayal, murder, and disgrace. Sam is left with the weight of what he witnessed and the knowledge that his silence helped the situation grow. Maya is sentenced to prison, and her remaining years pass behind bars, marked by regret and the memory of the life that could have been. The story ends with the sense that secrets can survive for a while, But eventually they demand payment, and the cost is never small.